The subtle dimension of consciousness inside is not so obvious, and is often very fleeting and very difficult to perceive. But there is a whole cosmos of experience inwardly too, and there are very, very deep and powerful states of mind to access, to tap into, and very powerful forms of energy to unlock. In the language of classical mysticism, and when I say classical, I mean just very clear and clean language, it's possible if you sit in meditation long enough and you develop enough awareness of mind itself, the place where even the whole universe comes into being, it is possible to go all the way back to the origin of life itself. The moment when what scientists call the Big Bang, the moment when the universe came into being, which happened in mind, the mind of God. So if you can get all the way back that far, you realize the mind of God as your mind. That's enlightenment, to know awareness as self, the awareness which is the mind of God, which has been here forever, will be here forever, which every atom in the whole of life knows its origin as. In other words, all things are from you, all things return to you, all things are you, all things are within you. You are that which gave rise to all life. You are one with all things, and all things are one with you, and all things are one with everything else too. And only the unfortunate, or rather let's call it less evolved state of beings, people, or entities or beings who have not fully connected, or perhaps are just ignoring the fact that they are one with everything, or denying it, or lying to themselves, or hiding from the fact. In other words, hiding from the truth. Unfortunately believe that they are separate and have fallen into a kind of twisted nightmare dream in the mind of God. And for some reason they're all running around attacking each other, trying to murder each other, building fancy weapons of war to try to annihilate each other in absolute insanity. In other words, a little bit of God has forgotten what it is and is trying to eat itself for some reason, and it's very strange. But that's all part of it as well. And you're now freed from that insanity because you've come back to the whole mind of life. And so in this meditation, deep watching, which happens with the eyes open as well, it's just that it's a really funny thing happens when your eyes are open. It's like it really looks like there's stuff here. It really looks like there are physical objects, or like boxes, or like rooms and houses and places, like a 3D sense of time. But if you can detach from that perception for long enough, which closing your eyes and sitting still really helps you to do, your experience, your perception of mind itself can broaden, and you can begin to reintegrate and reconnect with the truth of what you are, which is absolutely everything. And if you can focus in that and be in that long enough to realize mysticism, in other words, become a mystic, you go back all the way to the origin, before the universe came into being. You see the universe die, you see the end of time, and you realize life beyond that. People call that death, but you realize life beyond death, that the death is part of the illusion. It's just something that the matter experiences, not the invisible, immaterial part of you. And so you realize immortality, as the Taoists like to call it, or Buddha mind, as the Buddhists call it. You realize Buddha nature, awakened nature. You realize enlightenment. You find God in the language of Christianity. You realize what Jesus realized. You find union in the language of yoga, union with all things. You could just say in a modern language, you find the truth, you find reality, and it's wonderful.